As soon as the modern Dr. Lin Xiaoyu opened his eyes, he became a pitiful little fish from a small fishing village with the same name and surname as her in the 1980s. Not only did he regret his marriage by a scumbag, but he was also smeared with dirty water as a pair of broken shoes. He couldn't help but find his own shortcomings. Lin Xiaoyu was about to save himself when he encountered Lu Xianghuai, who was seriously injured and fell into the water. He easily rescued the person. After going back, while tearing apart the green tea residue, he stepped on the disgusting dog and licked it. By the way, he helped his old father get rich and started his business with great success. Just as her life was getting better and better, with various peach blossoms constantly being cut, the man she rescued from the sea suddenly came to her door. Lu Xianghuai. Comrade Lin Xiaoyu saved me, and there is no way to repay him. We can only promise each other with our own lives. Lin Xiaoyu looked at his perfect muscles and couldn't help but drool. It's really hard for her to resist this top-notch male color. It's simply growing on her heart. So she reluctantly accepted the beautiful man. Chapter 1. Heavenly Descending Beauty. You are listening at Novel Full.Audio. Cold seawater rushed in from all directions, and Lin Xiaoyu felt his chest almost bursting with pressure. She tugged hard at her hands and feet, trying to break free from the water. Just as she was about to surface, suddenly her foot was tightly held by one hand. Lin Xiaoyu instinctively wanted to kick away the thing that was holding her, but unfortunately her hand was very tight, and she couldn't break free no matter what. In the end, she could only rivet her all the way upstream. Harong struggled to climb out of the water and spit out a mouthful of salty seawater, causing Lin Xiaoyu to feel a bit confused. She remembers being hit by a car while trying to save people. Why was she so immersed in the sea as soon as she opened her eyes? Is it that the driver who caused the accident attempted to kill and silence her, throwing her into the sea? Just as she was thinking about it, a sharp stabbing pain suddenly hit her head, and a memory that didn't belong to her suddenly struck. Lin Xiaoyu covered her head and let out a muffled snort, her face turning a bit pale. She has traveled through time. Wearing it on a girl with the same name and surname in a small fishing village in the 1980s, the original owner wanted to divorce her due to her fiancé's infidelity. Feeling heartbroken, he couldn't help but jump into the sea and commit suicide. Unexpectedly, he met this unlucky guy who happened to wear it and almost died again. Looking back at the person who was just pulled up with her, it was clearly a person, and also a tall man. Lin Xiaoyu hesitated for a moment, unsure of the true origin of the man. She approached and saw that the man was soaked all over, with a military green shirt wrapped around his robust figure, revealing his well-defined chest and abdominal muscles. Although his face did not have any blood color, his facial features were sharp and domineering, making him a top-notch handsome man. As a doctor, Lin Xiaoyu's sense of professional mission made it impossible for her to face death without saving her. She just stepped forward and grabbed the man's arm, wanting to see his injuries, when a series of messages suddenly came to her mind. The patient was shot in the abdomen, and the wound infection caused high fever. At the same time, bullets remained in the body, leading to severe internal bleeding. Please quickly remove the bullet for the patient's surgery and control internal bleeding. The hemostasis method can be acupuncture and moxibustion. Please take out the bullet for the patient first, and stop bleeding and suture the wound to avoid further infection and deterioration. The fever can be reduced by bloodletting at acupoints, acupuncture and moxibustion, or oral administration of traditional Chinese medicine. A series of news left Lin Xiaoyu stunned for a moment, and then a look of ecstasy appeared on his face. Isn't this a safe golden finger? She used to study medicine for many years and was proficient in both traditional Chinese medicine and Western medicine. Now that she has the help of this system, it is like adding wings to a tiger. I don't know if there are any other functions of this system, but it's not easy to explore now. I can only go back and study it slowly. I don't know what other functions this system has. It would be even better if it had an operating room, Lin Xiaoyu muttered to herself. The next moment, she felt her body suddenly lose weight, and when she regained her senses, she had already fallen into a dust-free operating room. The equipment inside was complete, and all kinds of equipment were very high-end, making her face full of ecstasy. Since there is an operating room, it will be more convenient to treat men outside. She searched for the anesthetic first, found it, quickly withdrew from the operating room, gave the man anesthesia, and then dragged him into the operating room. To retrieve bullets, one must have tools, otherwise she would have no way to do it with her bare hands, and it is easy to be detected if she behaves recklessly outside. In this era, the defense between men and women is still very strict. If a lonely man or a widow were to be together in disheveled clothes, even saliva could drown her. Lin Xiaoyu, with the idea that less is better than more, still pulled the person into the operating room. There were no assistants in the operating room, and she put in a lot of effort to lift the person onto the operating table. After disinfecting the man's wound, the specific location of the bullet came to mind. She raised her eyebrows and operated on the man with a surgical knife, taking out the bullet stuck in his abdominal cavity. However, the bullet injured his stomach, and this man's stomach itself has problems, so he is afraid that it will cause some trouble in the future. Lin Xiaoyu didn't have the time to solve all the problems for him now. He first took the bullet, then did hemostasis and suturing, and finally breathed a long sigh of relief. He then gave the man a simple bandage before getting him out of the operating room. The man's abdominal wound was quite serious. In order to avoid being noticed, she deliberately tore up his shirt and bandaged the wound, so the man was now naked. Her whole body was wet and uncomfortable, and the sea water stuck to her skin, causing a tingling sensation. The wound was soaked in seawater, and Lin Xiaoyu was afraid that the man would get a fever if he was wet, so he struggled to carry the man on his shoulder and slowly moved towards the direction of home in his memory. On the way, I also met villagers from the same village who kept staring at her and the man behind her with his bare upper body, pointing at me without knowing what to say. Lin Xiaoyu had no time to care about these things, so he carried people and ran home. Her house was not far from the seaside, and as she approached the door, Lin Xiaoyu shouted twice towards the house. "Dad, Dad!" Quickly, a man in his 40s with dark skin walked out of the room. Seeing Lin Xiaoyu's wet all over, he was startled and quickly ran over. He looked up and down at her and said, "You dead girl, why are you running around? Where did you go? Why are your clothes all wet?" "Dad, let's not talk about this for now. I saved someone at the beach. Can you help me get him into the house first? It's probably someone from a nearby military unit who got injured for some reason and was washed up to the beach." Lin Xiaoyu lifted his hand and wiped the sweat off his forehead, shouting to the man in front of him. Upon hearing this, Lin Xiaoyu frowned and glanced at the man lying on the ground. His face immediately changed and he quickly approached, picked him up, and walked into the room. "Hey, you really have a serious injury. We don't have any medicine at home, what should we do? Why don't we go to the village clinic to get some medicine first? It's okay, using some Chinese herbal medicine can also stop bleeding. I found some herbs to bandage him at the beach." Lin Xiaoyu shook his head and sat down to gulp down a large mouthful of water before feeling more comfortable. Lin Xiaoyu lifted the person to the bed and saw that he was soaked all over. He then glanced at his own daughter and said, "You go outside first, I'll change his clothes. Don't get infected with a fever in a while. This soldier is a hero who defends his country, so there shouldn't be any accidents." Lin Xiaoyu nodded at the words and looked down at his wet clothes with disdain. He resigned and went outside. As soon as I left, I saw a group of people walking towards us in a fierce manner. Lin Xiaoyu raised his eyebrows slightly and recognized that the man in charge was the scumbag fiancé of the original owner, Gu Changjing. Behind Gu Changjing, there were many people from the Gu family, as well as those from the village who came to watch the excitement. As soon as he saw Lin Xiaoyu standing wet at the door, Gu Changjing was taken aback. Then he pointed to Lin Xiaoyu and cursed, "Lin Xiaoyu, I have withdrawn from this marriage today. You have to agree, you have to agree. I already know what happened between you and Zhou Haoming. You are such an impure woman, I can never marry into the house. Just as Gu Changjing's words fell, the villagers around looked at Lin Xiaoyu with strange eyes. Chapter 2. Whose dog barks recklessly? You are listening at Novel Full.Audio. Unclean or unclean? Lin Xiaoyu raised his eyebrows and looked coldly at Gu Changjing. In this intimidating era, this behavior of splashing dirty water is very disgusting. Gu Changjing wanted to divorce, but he was afraid of losing the face of the Gu family, so he framed Lin Xiaoyu for not being clear with others. Once this matter is confirmed, her reputation will be ruined in the future. The original owner was filled with grief and anger over this matter, and chose to commit suicide. But Lin Xiaoyu is not as easy to bully as a soft persimmon. She looked up and down at Gu Changjing, and then her gaze fell on the woman standing next to him. The woman saw Lin Xiaoyu looking at her and her face changed. Then she spoke softly and weakly, Xiaoyu, even if you don't like Changjing, just say it directly. How can you hang on to his marriage while getting involved with Zhou Haoming? I can't help you with this matter, you really did something wrong. TSK, this Lin Xiaoyu usually behaves recklessly, but he never expected to do such a thing again. It's really disgusting to mess with men before getting married. If it were in ancient times, it would have been soaked in a pig cage. Hurry up and withdraw your marriage. It's unlucky for someone like this to marry someone from another family. Not to mention, they have an affair with Zhou Haoming, the young man from the Zhou family. Zhou Haoming is willing to marry them. Lin Xiaoyu is not bad looking. Let's just get married and go home, but she's still good for fun. Her figure, hee. The villagers around, listening to the woman's words, immediately cast their unbridled gaze on Lin Xiaoyu. Lin Xiaoyu only felt a wave of nausea. The woman who spoke was Lin Xiaoman. She was a sister of Lin Xiaoyu's same clan. She was also a good friend and had a good relationship. Unexpectedly, today she even slandered her innocence. Lin Xiaoyu glanced at Lin Xiaoman and suddenly heard a voice in his mind. Female, 23 years old, 9 weeks pregnant. She was stunned for a moment, then looked at Lin Xiaoman and Gu Changjing, and suddenly understood everything. These two people actually have an affair. My belly has grown bigger, no wonder I am so anxious to divorce myself. It turns out that I am in a hurry to marry Lin Xiaoman and come in. If we don't withdraw from the marriage again, Lin Xiaoman's belly will probably become bigger. Lin Xiaoyu gave a cold smile and walked towards Lin Xiaoman. Suddenly, he reached out to her lower abdomen, and Lin Xiaoman instinctively took 2 steps back while covering her lower abdomen. He looked at Lin Xiaoyu with caution and said, Xiaoyu, what are you doing? I didn't do anything, I just wanted to know who the child in your belly belongs to, Xiaoman. It shouldn't be Gu Changjing's, right? Lin Xiaoyu looked at Lin Xiaoman with a smile on his face. Lin Xiaoman's face changed and he instinctively looked at Gu Changjing. She felt anxious and uneasy in her heart. How could Lin Xiaoyu know about this matter? No, what happened to Lin Xiaoyu today? Why did he become so articulate? She usually can't hit a fart with 3 sticks, and when she encounters something, she will only feel aggrieved and uncomfortable alone. She dare not say anything at all. What's going on today? She looked at Lin Xiaoyu in shock. Gu Changjing's face changed. His relationship with Lin Xiaoman must not be exposed, otherwise his reputation in the village will be completely ruined and it will also affect the Gu family. The old man will definitely break his leg. He instinctively looked outside, feeling secretly anxious. Damn it, why hasn't Zhou Haoming come yet? Lin Xiaoyu. What are you talking nonsense about? It's clear that you had an affair with Zhou Haoming, and he has already admitted it himself. We've slept before, and you're really disgusting. Now you want to slander Xiaoman and me. Do you still want to pour dirty water on me to justify yourself? Gu Changjing glared fiercely at Lin Xiaoyu. If it were Lin Xiaoyu from the past, he would have already shrunk his neck and dared not speak now. But unfortunately, Lin Xiaoyu has changed people now, so it's impossible to shrink back. The more Gu Changjing behaves in this way, the more it represents his guilt. If he had nothing to do with Lin Xiaoman, she could have twisted her head off and kicked him like a ball. Shouldn't you just go to the health clinic for a check.Up? Why don't you dare? Lin Xiaoyu said, reaching out to catch Lin Xiaoman. Lin Xiaoman was shocked and hid behind Gu Changjing, saying, Xiaoyu, are you crazy? I'm a yellow flower girl. You want me to do this kind of examination? Do I want to live again in the future? I know you and brother Changjing are going to quit their marriage, but you can't hurt me. You and I are good sisters. How can you treat me like this? You don't want fame, I want fame, and I want to marry in the future. How can you slander my innocence like this? I slander your innocence. Do you also know that girls' reputation is important? Do you also know that we are good sisters? Then you are still here to slander my innocence, saying that I have an affair with Zhou Haoming. Lin Xiaoyu raises her eyebrows and looks at Lin Xiaoman coldly, questioning aggressively. Lin Xiaoman felt guilty and didn't dare to look at her, but he whispered, I didn't mistreat you. You told me this yourself. You even told me that Zhou Haoming is very talented and makes you happy in bed. You want to cancel your engagement with Changjing and marry Zhou Haoming. She seemed shy to speak up later and dared not continue. Gu Changjing suddenly became angry and pointed at Lin Xiaoyu, cursing loudly, Good you, Lin Xiaoyu. What else do you say now? Not only Zhou Haoming said it's related to you, but now Xiaoman has said it too. What else do you have to argue? You shut up. Lin Xiaoman, I dare to go to the health clinic to check if I have had any sexual intercourse with Zhou Haoming. Do you dare to come with me to check if you are pregnant? Lin Xiaoyu glared at Gu Changjing and then looked at Lin Xiaoman. Lin Xiaoman dare not. She hid behind Gu Changjing and dared not speak. Such a guilty expression made the villagers feel somewhat puzzled. They looked at Lin Xiaoman and Lin Xiaoyu. The two sisters turned against each other, which was beautiful and wonderful. But they were more curious about whether Lin Xiaoman was really pregnant with a child who cared about Changjing. Lin Xiaoyu, stop talking nonsense and biting others here. Do you think everyone has a bad pants like you? You're really shameless. You don't learn well at a young age and mess with men. I see you're just like your mother, you're all tattered shoes and junk. 1,000 people ride and 10,000 people sleep on junk. As Lin Xiaoman was about to show off her horse feet, Gu Changjing's mother Su Chunmei couldn't help but glare at him angrily, rolled up her sleeves, and pointed at Lin Xiaoyu's nose, cursing. That mouthful of water is about to spray onto Lin Xiaoyu's face. Lin Xiaoyu's face darkened. How could the original owner still want to marry into such a family? Even if you go in, you will have to endure hardships. Fortunately, Gu Changjing was blind and saw Lin Xiaoman. Let's leave this good fortune for herself. However, it's okay to scold her, but absolutely not her mother. Lin Xiaoyu hates people insulting his parents the most, even if it's cheap parents. Chapter 3. Discovering on the spot. You are listening at novel full.audio. What kind of person spits out what kind of words? I think you've done this kind of thing yourself, that's why everyone is like this, right? Lin Xiaoyu scolded back, unwilling to be outdone. Su Chunmei was dumbfounded. Previously, Lin Xiaoyu was very weak and didn't dare to talk back no matter how much he scolded. He had a very soft temper, and it was because of this that his family was destined to suffer a mute defeat in this matter. At that time, you can even take this opportunity to extort a sum of money. After all, Lin Xiaoman has Gu Changjing's child in his belly, and when the child is born, it will be a huge expense. Although Lin Xiaoyu's family is poor, doesn't he still have Zhou Haoming? The Zhou family is the richest person in the village, with 5 fishing boats at home. Zhou Haoming is very dedicated to Lin Xiaoyu, and a few years ago he threatened not to marry her. He has been single until now and has not married a wife just to wait for Lin Xiaoyu. Whatever kind of mother there is, whatever kind of daughter there is, I'll see who dares to marry your daughter. After a brief moment of shock, Su Chunmei began to curse again. Lin Xiaoyu is really not a match for Su Chunmei in the argument. The other party is throwing women and cursing on the street. They can spare no face, but she can't. Lin Xiaoyu has always been a well-behaved woman since she was young. She has never argued so much and rarely blushes with others. This time, listening to Su Chunmei's unpleasant words, she didn't know how to refute her for a moment. At this moment, Lin Haiqiang suddenly came out of the room, holding a stick in his hand, and smashed it fiercely at Su Chunmei. Su Chunmei was startled and instinctively took a few steps back, then screamed and pointed at Lin Haiqiang, cursing, "Lin Haiqiang, are you going to die? Do you dare to hit me? Can you afford to pay for hurting me? I'll beat you to death. If you dare to scold my daughter.In.Law again, give it a try." Lin Haiqiang had a dark face. He was already tall, with dark skin that looked a bit scary, but now his black face looked even more frightening. Su Chunmei is a master who bullies the weak and fears the hard. At this moment, she shrank her neck, afraid that Lin Haiqiang would really hit her. She murmured a few words and cursed twice, but dared not shout loudly anymore. "Don't get out yet. If you want to get married, you can get married. My daughter, Lin Haiqiang, shouldn't cry and beg your son to marry her. But it's absolutely impossible to slander my daughter's innocence." Lin Haiqiang struck his stick to the ground, indicating his attitude. "Uncle Lin, I know you are also reasonable. This time, it was originally Lin Xiaoyu from your family who was not clear with Zhou Haoming. I did not wrongly accuse her, and now it's not just your voice that makes sense. If we can't do it, let's ask Zhou Haoming. What he said must not be false, right?" Gu Changjing looked at Zhou Haoming who came behind, his lips hooked, and his face showed a hint of satisfaction. Upon hearing this, Lin Haiqiang couldn't help but frown and instinctively looked at Lin Xiaoyu. He is not afraid of anything. If he kills someone, he won't be able to take care of them. However, when his wife left, he promised to protect their only daughter. Now that Lin Xiaoyu has been slandered and splashed with dirty water, he doesn't know what to do in the future. He feels really uncomfortable in his heart. Zhou Haoming also ran over at this moment, glanced at the scene, smiled, and said, "What's going on? It's so lively today. Zhou Haoming, you've just arrived. Just ask yourself, are you having an affair with Lin Xiaoyu? Have you slept with her?" Gu Changjing gritted his teeth and questioned, looking green. Zhou Haoming smiled and looked at Lin Xiaoyu. "Gu Changjing, don't say anything so unpleasant, okay? I and Xiaoyu are in love, and we are in love. How could we say something so unpleasant? You see, you're just engaged and not married. Even if you get married, you can still get divorced. Besides, it's just engagement. If you step down from her and she marries me, isn't that a win-win situation? Lin Xiaoyu, what else do you have to say now? Zhou Haoming has already admitted your relationship." Gu Changjing suddenly looked at Lin Xiaoyu and asked aggressively. Lin Xiaoyu rolled his eyes and looked at Zhou Haoming. "You said you have a similar relationship with me. Why is it legal to have a similar relationship? Can you tell me?" Zhou Haoming was taken aback for a moment, then smiled and said, "Xiaoyu, have you forgotten? That night, you clearly said you liked me and wanted to marry me. We had already cooked raw rice and cooked it. Are you embarrassed to say it in front of so many people? Oh. Did the raw rice cook enough? I volunteered. How come I didn't know about this?" Lin Xiaoyu almost rolled his eyes. Such a clumsy trick actually forced the original owner to death. These two men are really more despicable than each other. I know you're sorry, it's okay. If you divorce Gu Changjing and I marry you, I'll definitely treat you well. Zhou Haoming smiled and didn't continue with Lin Xiaoyu's topic. Dad, why don't you go find someone to help report to the police? I might have been raped and didn't know I had a relationship with this person before. Since I don't remember anything about it, but he definitely said it was because he drugged me and did something to me. I have to report it to the police. Now we're cracking down severely. This drugging and raping a woman should be enough for him to eat a peanut. Lin Xiaoyu turned his head to look at Lin Haiqiang, speaking seriously and with a hint of resentment. Lin Haiqiang nodded and glared fiercely at Zhou Haoming, then turned around and planned to go find someone to report to the police. Zhou Haoming panicked at the sight and instinctively spoke up, Don't report to the public security. Maybe there was a misunderstanding between us. I remember it wrong. We didn't have raw rice to cook mature rice, we just made a lifelong commitment. Yes, that's it. Really. I think it's better to report it to the public security. This is a matter of my reputation, so it's better to figure it out. If it's not clear, I'm afraid I won't be able to survive in the village. Lin Xiaoyu looked at Zhou Haoming with a smile on his face, and his tone intensified. Zhou Haoming's cold sweat has come down. Gu Changjing also frowned. Today's Lin Xiaoyu is not right, he's too articulate. How did she become like this? I. What's wrong with you? Did you forget what you wanted to say? Or did someone make you deliberately frame me to achieve some shady goals? If you speak honestly, maybe I won't report to the Public Security Bureau. Otherwise, you might really have to go eat peanuts. Lin Xiaoyu seized the opportunity to pursue. Zhou Haoming's legs are starting to soften. The crime of hooliganism has always been strictly punished. If he is really charged with the crime of hooliganism, even his father cannot save his life. He glanced at Gu Changjing, then gritted his teeth and said, A dead friend is better than a poor friend. Gu Changjing's death is better than his own death. He pointed to Gu Changjing and said, It's him, it's all Gu Changjing. He made me slander you. Why is there a man hidden in Chapter 4? You are listening at novel full.audio. He wants to regret his marriage, but he is afraid of affecting his reputation. He knows I like you, so he came to me to sum up and let me slander you for having an affair with me. Then he can openly withdraw from the marriage without compensating your family for the losses. It will be you who is at fault then. I will come out at this time to show that I don't mind and show great care for you. You will be moved and agree to marry me. Both of us will have to fulfill our wishes. I was completely lost in my mind. I was deceived by his lies and agreed to do such a thing. Don't report to the public security. Our relationship is pure and innocent, and nothing has happened before. I was just talking nonsense before. I apologize. Zhou Haoming was able to resist and sold Gu Changjing directly. It doesn't matter whether he can marry Lin Xiaoyu now, the key is that he absolutely can't go in. As for whether Gu Changjing is ashamed or not, what does it have to do with him? Gu Changjing almost died of anger from Zhou Haoming. The villagers watching the play around looked at him with disdain in their eyes. Regretting marriage and blaming others, Gu Changjing's behavior is really despicable. Feeling everyone's gaze, Gu Changjing gritted his teeth in hatred. All of this is Lin Xiaoyu's fault. Lin Xiaoyu, since you don't want to withdraw, our engagement remains the same, I. Gu Changjing gritted his teeth as he looked at Lin Xiaoyu. He had already planned to beat and abuse her every day when he married her back home, not giving her enough food, and tormenting her to death. Anyway, marrying into his family is the one who cares about his family. He will live or die with him. If he really dies, no one dares to say anything. If it's okay, he can find an excuse to evade it. This damn woman made him lose face in front of so many people, he will definitely not let it go. Lin Xiaoyu rolled his eyes and said, "I'm sorry, I find you disgusting. You're such a dirty thing, I don't want you, Lin Xiaoyu. Let's just drop out of this marriage. I wish you and Lin Xiaoman 100 years of good marriage, have a precious son early, and hold each other for 3 years. You." Gu Changjing could feel Lin Xiaoyu's real disgust. He felt a burning sensation on his face, as if he had been slapped. Lin Xiaoyu was too lazy to continue talking nonsense to him, so he planned to go back to his house with Lin Haiqiang. "She hasn't even changed her clothes yet, it's really uncomfortable. Lin Xiaoyu, don't regret it. You divorced me, I see who in the village dares to marry you in the future." Gu Changjing became angry and yelled at Lin Xiaoyu. Lin Xiaoyu turned around and looked at him up and down, then twitched his lips and said, "You're the one. I regret it. I want to thank you for not marrying me. As a garbage man like you, who married you is really unlucky for 8 lifetimes. 3-second man, whoever loves to marry, she will definitely not marry anyway. This kind of delicacy, let Lin Xiaoman enjoy it slowly." I laughed to death. Did the Gu family lose face this time? I never expected that Gu Changjing would be so disgusting. I thought he was too passionate before, but ended up cheating on someone and falsely accusing Lin Xiaoyu. What's going on with Lin Xiaoyu today? Why do you feel different from usual? It's me, I also want to become different. Gu Changjing clearly doesn't want to give her a living anymore. A girl's reputation is so important. What kind of thing is he doing with Zhou Haoming? You can stay away from the Gu family in the future. They still have 2 daughters in their family. Do you think their sons are like this, engaged and promiscuous? Will the daughters also behave like this? Hey, then I dare not marry their Gu family's daughter. I might just put on a green hat. Let's go, there's nothing else to look at. I need to quickly talk to my 8 aunts and 7 aunts about this matter. I also need to quickly tell my relatives about it. Don't go back and marry the wife of the Gu family. If anything happens in the future, don't let anyone die. Villagers, every word you say, I'm ready to go and eat melons with my relatives. At this moment, a military jeep drove into this small fishing village. The villagers who had originally planned to disperse stood aside and started eating melons. Looking at the soldiers wearing camouflage uniforms one by one, their faces were filled with curiosity. Su Chunmei originally felt embarrassed and planned to pull her son away, but now she is also squeezing into the crowd to join in the fun. "Comrades, have you found a young man by the seaside today, about 20.7 or 8 years old, who is so tall and injured?" A middle-aged man in his 40s hurriedly ran over and gestured to the villagers who were watching. Lin Xiaoyu couldn't help but raise an eyebrow at the words. Isn't that the handsome guy she picked up in the sea? It seems that the military rank is not low. "Comrades, the person you're looking for is at my house. You should hurry up and bring the person back, it's not a minor injury." Lin Haiqiang didn't think too much, and from their description, he knew it was the young man brought back by Lin Xiaoyu. He quickly went forward and after some communication, the man entered Lin Haiqiang's house. Seeing that the young man lying in bed had already treated his wound, a hint of surprise flashed in his eyes, and he quickly called for a military doctor to help him undergo a careful examination. After the inspection, I breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, I dealt with it in a timely manner. Otherwise, it would be really difficult for immortals to save. Who handled the wound? The medical skills are so superb. The military doctor looked at the wound on his body in amazement, sutured it very well, and now his physical signs are stable, unlike a wounded person who was shot and lost too much water and blood. Lin Xiaoyu touched his nose and said, "I dealt with it. His dad often goes out to sea and gets injured from time to time. I learned some medical skills from my mom before, but he was seriously injured, so I simply bandaged the wound." Lin Haiqiang followed suit and explained a few words, Yes, my daughter handled it. She has learned some medical skills from her mother. Thank you both comrades, thank you so much. Let's take them away first, and then thank you both for your life-saving kindness. The military doctor bowed to Lin Xiaoyu and Lin Haiqiang, then asked someone to carry a stretcher and take the injured man away. Lin Xiaoyu also learned from the conversation that the injured man's name is Lu Xianghuai. He is 28 years old and has already become a major, making many achievements. This time, he also encountered a group of difficult spies who wanted to infiltrate our country. During the fight, he was shot and fell into the sea. Fortunately, he met Lin Xiaoyu, otherwise his life would be in danger. Seeing Lu Xianghuai and the others out, before they could even walk far, Gu Changjing excitedly shouted, "Lin Xiaoyu, you said you didn't have a clear understanding with the wild man. You actually hit a man at home. Now you can't argue anymore, can you? Lin Xiaoyu." Chapter 5. As long as I don't feel embarrassed, it won't be me who is embarrassed. You are listening at Novel Full.Audio. The villagers around also pointed and pointed, but dared not speak loudly. After all, the military uniforms of those who came to pick up Lu Xianghuai were clearly visible to them. Lu Xianghuai coughed and weakly opened his eyes. Cough cough, this female comrade saved my life. If anyone talks recklessly behind my back, we'll handle it according to the rules. As soon as these words were spoken, Gu Changjing's face turned pale with fear, and he shrank behind Su Chunmei, afraid to speak again. Lin Xiaoman stomped her feet unwillingly. Unexpectedly, Lin Xiaoyu was so lucky that she could pick up an injured soldier at the beach. This time, everything she had planned was casually revealed. Especially Zhou Haoming, he is really a waste, useless at all. He was scared by Lin Xiaoyu for a few words and ended up doing anything. Her heart was unwilling and her eyes were filled with resentment. As a result, before the emotions in her eyes could be calmed down, she suddenly noticed that Lin Xiaoyu was looking towards her. Lin Xiaoman suddenly felt a thumping sensation in his heart, with a bad premonition. Sure enough, Lin Xiaoyu's voice rang in his ear immediately, like a deadly spell. "Comrade, your military doctor's medical skills should not be bad, right? Cough, it's really not bad. Under his tutelage from Master Hua, his medical skills can be considered one of the best." Lu Xianghuai's face turned pale, and he was still very weak at the moment. He couldn't feel the pain from his abdominal wound. He was supported by people around him and looked at Lin Xiaoyu with a hint of appreciation in his eyes. It's rare to encounter someone who can handle things calmly and rationally, even if they have been wrongly splashed with dirty water. A small fishing village is quite good for hiding such a woman. That's perfect. I'll borrow your military doctor to use it. My cousin has some health problems, so I'll help her take a look. Lin Xiaoyu smiled and looked at Lin Xiaoman. Lin Xiaoman's face instantly turned pale. Lin Xiaoyu said she was pregnant, but she could still explain that she didn't understand medical skills and was talking nonsense. The villagers in the village may not believe Lin Xiaoyu's words and won't delve into this matter. But this is a military doctor in the army, can you help Lin Xiaoyu lie? If it is revealed that she is pregnant, how will she continue to establish herself in the village in the future? Even if one can marry into the Gu family, life may not be too easy. Lin Xiaoman was anxious and instinctively wanted to refuse. Lin Xiaoyu seemed to have seen through her thoughts a long time ago and blocked her retreat with just one sentence. "What? Are you afraid? If you dare not, then you will honestly admit that there was indeed an affair between you and Gu Changjing. You two broke shoes and even had a big belly, so you colluded with Zhou Haoming to harm me." Lin Xiaoman was so anxious that he almost burst into tears and sought help to visit Changjing. Gu Changjing dare not speak now. The opposite side is a soldier. He had the courage to speak nonsense at this moment, as he was afraid to be caught and eaten peanuts. As for Lin Xiaoman's reputation, it doesn't have much to do with him. He's also a man, and this kind of thing doesn't have a big impact on him. At best, marry Lin Xiaoman and enter the door. This woman is quite good at getting things done in bed, and he likes it quite a bit. Seeing Gu Changjing not speaking, Lin Xiaoman's face turned pale. Lu Xianghuai immediately understood what was going on and approached with a smile, then I'll make a fool of myself. This female comrade, if you don't mind, I'll show you. Lin Xiaoman really wants to say that she cares, but she can't say it out loud. Lu Xianghuai stepped forward and gave her a pulse, then raised his eyebrows and said with a happy expression, "Congratulations, comrade. This is a happy pulse. This child is going to be 2 months old, so be careful for the first 3 months. Be careful not to do heavy work and take good care of yourself. Do you need me to prescribe an anti-abortion medication for you?" Lin Xiaoman's face turned pale and he fell to the ground. Lu Xianghuai let out a sigh and said, "Female comrade, be careful. You can't get too excited about this. Someone should quickly help the person up and send them back. Be careful and don't touch the fetus." Lin Xiaoman's parents never thought that they would come here to eat melons and watch Lin Xiaoyu's joke, but in the end, the joke became their own. They only felt a burning pain on their faces and had no face to see anyone. The villagers nearby immediately began to discuss. "I can't tell. Lin Xiaoman is so coquettish and usually looks quite serious, but he hasn't gotten married yet, so he just messed up his stomach with a man. Oh, before that, she was just saying that Lin Xiaoyu was cheating on people, and it was her own who dared to cheat. The Lao Lin family is really amazing. They have raised such a daughter, and even their cousin's fiancée dares to seduce them. This family style is really tough. Hee, not really. I was just laughing at Lin Xiaoyu there, and I don't know whose face hurts. The villagers have poisonous mouths. Just now, they said what Lin Xiaoyu said, and now all the retribution has fallen on Lin Xiaoman." Lin Xiaoman felt black in front of him and wished he could dig a hole in the ground and dive in on his own. Her reputation. It's all Lin Xiaoyu, this little slut who caused her harm. Otherwise, could she end up like this? She is a high school student, but the most cultured person in the village. Before, when others looked at her with envy, who dared to chew her tongue behind her back. Now, everyone is pointing at her spine and cursing her for having broken shoes. Lin Xiaoman's parents only felt embarrassed, especially her father, who wished he could slap her to death. He walked forward with a dark face and grabbed Lin Xiaoman's arm, pulling the person away. Lin Xiaoman stumbled and couldn't help but look at Changjing before leaving, saying, "Brother Changjing, Brother Changjing. Bad luck." Su Chunmei cursed in the direction of Lin Xiaoman and then dragged Gu Changjing away. Having lost such a big face, she has no face to continue staying here. The villagers ate a big melon and were in a good mood. They planned to go back and tell the other villagers who didn't come to eat the melon that today's incident is destined to spread in the small fishing village. Lin Xiaoyu couldn't help but laugh out loud, then turned his head to look at Lu Xianghuai and thanked him, "Thank you." Lu Xianghuai looked at the smile on her face for a moment, then smiled along. His injury is not mild and he needs to go back for a good rest and examination, so he did not stay. After thanking Lin Xiaoyu and his daughter repeatedly, they got on the car and left the small fishing village. In the car, Lu Xianghuai leaned back in the chair and rested with his eyes closed. Lu Xianghuai beside him couldn't help but whisper to him, "Lu Xianghuai, let me tell you, this woman's medical skills are definitely even more advanced than mine. The wound is really sewn up, and your injury definitely injured your internal organs. She was able to pull you back from the gates of hell, and I don't know who she learned the medical skills from. I really want to learn from her." Lu Xianghuai didn't know what was on her mind, and her lips curved. Chapter 6. A Man Without Seeds. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ah, Xiaoyu, are you okay? After everyone else dispersed, Lin Xiaoyu looked at Lin Xiaoyu with a worried expression on his face. Lin Xiaoyu has lost her mother since childhood and is introverted and a bit timid. Previously, Gu Changjing made a fuss about getting married, and spread many rumors that were unfavorable to her. She has been unhappy and washes her face with tears every day. Lin Xiaoyu doesn't know what kind of stimulation she received this time, so she responded to Gu Changjing with such fierce means. However, the child must have suffered injustice, and he also felt heartbroken when he looked at her. Lin Xiaoyu looked at the worry in Lin Xiaoyu's eyes and thought of the father's kindness to her in the original owner's memory. His heart softened, and he then took his arm and walked into the room, saying, "Dad, I just suddenly realized something. Since he doesn't want to marry me and has someone he likes, I don't have to force him either, do I? I also have you, Dad. I also want to spend more time with you by Dad's side. Don't you like me anymore and want to marry me out early? How could it be? It would be best if you could think about it yourself. I'm afraid you might have done something foolish that's not worth it." Lin Xiaoyu looked at his daughter with relief and patted her hand on the back. The salt on Lin Xiaoyu's body has dried up, making it even more uncomfortable and even a little itchy. She quickly greeted Lin Xiaoyu and went to boil water, take a shower, and change clothes. Seeing that Lin Xiaoyu was indeed fine, Lin Xiaoyu breathed a sigh of relief and turned to tidy up the tools for going out to sea, intending to try his luck. Recently, his gains have not been very good. In addition, he fell seriously ill a while ago and spent all his family's savings. Now, he still owes a lot of foreign debt. Lin Xiaoyu's health is better now, so he wants to make money as soon as possible to repay the debt, so as not to burden his daughter. Lin Xiaoyu took a shower and saw Lin Xiaoyu drying his net at the door. Every household in the small fishing village makes a living by fishing. They don't have their own fishing boat, they borrow the Zhou family's fishing boat, and each time they have to pay half of the harvest to the Zhou family as compensation. If there is a poor harvest, after dividing the Zhou family's half, they will hardly receive much income. And they all eat according to the weather, and their harvest is not stable each time. Sometimes when they go out to sea and encounter waves, there is also a possibility of accidents, which is very dangerous. Lin Xiaoyu only knows medical skills and can't help much with fishing. Watching Lin Xiaoyu sunbathing at the moment, she couldn't help but remain silent. The Lin family was very poor, and she had already seen this in the original owner's memory. And the reason why she was so eager to marry Gu Changjing was because the dowry given by Gu Changjing's family was good. It was agreed that she would give 100 yuan dowry. A few months ago, Lin Xiaoyu fell seriously ill and spent several hundred yuan on treatment. The money was borrowed from the Zhou family. At that time, Zhou Haoming liked the original owner, so he generously borrowed the money. But today she made Zhou Haoming make a fool of himself in front of so many people. I'm afraid Zhou Haoming won't give up easily. With his cautious and face-saving personality, he is likely to come and cause trouble soon. The matter of making money is urgent. And Lin Xiaoyu has just recovered from a serious illness, so going out to sea is too dangerous. Dad, why don't we stop fishing and try other businesses? Lin Xiaoyu looked at Lin Xiaoyu's back and suddenly spoke up. Lin Hai paused for a moment and turned to look at her with a smile on his face. Dad has been fishing all his life for decades. You said he won't fish anymore, but what else can he do? You don't have to worry about Dad's health. Dad has recovered very well and there's nothing serious left. It's okay to go out to sea. Lin Xiaoyu pondered for a moment. In the past, when watching videos, one could always see people rushing to the sea, and every time the tide rose, they could bring in a lot of seafood. This is safer than going out to sea, and you can also try to see if there are any sea pits nearby. You can drain the water and find some seafood from inside. There are always more ways to make money than difficulties. Dad, I want to go to the beach for a walk and come back later. Lin Xiaoyu got up and changed his shoes before going out. No one is going out to sea at this time because it is almost evening. Generally, fishermen go out in the morning and come back in the evening. Sometimes, if they walk far, it may take several days to come back. Those with large ships may even come back every 10.5 days to bring back a large amount of harvest from Alibaba. When she arrived at the beach, the tide had just ended and there were still some traces left on the ground. Lin Xiaoyu thought of the sea driving video he had watched before, and found a small hole to reach out and dig. Soon, he finally pulled out a razor clam, which was quite large. Her eyes lit up, but when she touched the razor clam, some details about it appeared in her mind. Razor clams are healthy and have delicious meat. She was taken aback and then ecstatic. This system couldn't have appeared for no reason. Lin Xiaoyu thought of the blood-stained ancestral jade pendant hanging on her chest when she had a car accident. Then, the jade pendant seemed to have integrated into her body, and she opened her eyes again and came here. Perhaps it was due to the jade pendant that she was able to have a chance to be reborn, and she also had such a system. Not only can one learn about all the problems and treatment plans of a person's body through contact, but they can also learn about the physical condition of animals through contact. Nowadays, every household tends to raise some livestock, and veterinarianism is a very popular job. And with this ability, she can raise some chickens, ducks, and geese at home in the future, and Lin Xiaoyu doesn't need to go out to sea and fish in such danger. Lin Xiaoyu walked around the beach and picked up a few orchid crabs, clams, and parrot snails. She wrapped them in clothes and brought them home. Lin Xiaoyu watched as she picked up these things and couldn't help but laugh. What's the use of this? It's not enough for you to have a meal. Of course it's useful, won't it be enough for us to eat? I'll make you something delicious, Lin Xiaoyu said mysteriously as he entered the kitchen. Usually, Lin Xiaoyu likes to tinker with food when he has nothing to do, but Lin Xiaoyu doesn't pay much attention to it. After entering the kitchen, Lin Xiaoyu thought for a moment and realized that being close to the seaside, the most abundant food is all kinds of seafood, and she knows how to make a lot of seafood-related delicacies. The simplest and most cost-effective one should be seafood noodles. Noodles can be made by oneself, and the price of flour is not too high. It's only 1.8 cents per kilogram, so you can make a lot of noodles. I owe Zhou Haoming a lot of money now, and I don't know how long it will take to repay it by fishing. There is a town not far from the small fishing village, where selling seafood noodles would be a good choice. This era has just begun to encourage business, and many people's thinking is still stuck in the past, thinking that being a small vendor is a shameful thing and disdainful to do it. This is a great opportunity for her to make money. Chapter 7. Seafood Noodles. You are listening at novelfull.audio. There isn't much flour left in the kitchen, but it's enough to make noodles for 2 people to eat. Lin Xiaoyu and Mian Xingmian took advantage of the awakening time and also processed the seafood they picked up from the sea. Then I made a pot of soup base. The soup base is also simple. Shrimp and crab soup made with clams is delicious and light, making it very suitable for making seafood noodles. After waking up, Lin Xiaoyu made lamian noodles again. The lamian noodles made by himself tastes better. When the soup is ready, add the noodles. For this seafood soup, celery is the key. Fortunately, if you have celery at home, the taste will be much worse. Celery can enhance freshness and eliminate fishy odors. The noodles were almost cooked, so Lin Xiaoyu picked them up and put them into a sea bowl. Then he scooped in a spoonful of noodle soup. The shrimp and crabs in the soup had already been scooped out in advance. This type of seafood should not be cooked for too long, otherwise the taste would not be as good. Once the seafood noodles are ready, sprinkle them with scallions, cauliflower, and cilantro, and the noodles are considered ready. That fresh and fragrant smell has already emanated. Lin Xiaoyu sucked his nose and entered the kitchen, glanced at the noodles floating with scallions, coriander, and couldn't help but give Lin Xiaoyu a thumbs up. Xiaoyu, these noodles are really good. Can this noodle still be made like this? Of course, it's a pity that I didn't find any fish when I went out today. Otherwise, it would be better to make fish soup with it underneath. Lin Xiaoyu looked regretful. There are several types of fish in the sea that make very delicious fish soup. The milky white fish soup, with a little salt added, is very delicious. She used to love it very much. Unfortunately, I didn't find it today, but if I walk towards the beach ahead tomorrow, there may be a lot of seafood inside the rock crevices. Dad, try it quickly. If it's delicious, I want to set up a stall in town selling seafood noodles. What do you think? Lin Xiaoyu handed a bowl of noodles to Lin Xiaoyu, urging him to try it quickly. Lin Xiaoyu took a sip of the soup first, without the expected sea fishy taste. Instead, it was particularly delicious. After taking a sip, the fresh taste of the seafood itself, combined with the scent of celery, mixed together, giving him a very special taste that made his eyes couldn't help but brighten. He took another bite of noodles. Hand-rolled noodles have a strong taste, and after absorbing the soup, taking a sip is an ultimate enjoyment. Take another bite of shrimp. Shrimp is the most common type of sea shrimp, and fresh sea shrimp tastes particularly delicious. The pure natural flavor is well preserved, and the small fish in the forest is not cooked for too long. Once cooked, it is ready to be picked up. Crabs are the same, taking one bite can make people want to eat their tongues together. Lin Xiaoyu thinks that seafood noodles and seafood congee are all human delicacies. She used to like raw porridge, shrimp and crab. After congee was boiled, she poured shrimp and crab into it and mixed it. In 2 or 3 minutes, the fire could be turned off. Then she put in parsley, onion and coriander. The taste is delicious. Delicious, this is really delicious. Lin Xiaoyu ate up a large bowl of noodles in just a few bites. There is still some left in the pot, and Lin Xiaoyu has filled it for him. With the affirmation of Lin Xiaoyu, Lin Xiaoyu has more confidence in buying and selling this seafood noodle. Just as I finished eating the noodles, someone knocked on the door. Lin Xiaoyu frowned and went over to open the door. When I opened the door, I saw Zhou Haoming standing at the door, his face not very pretty. Looking at Lin Xiaoyu, his face no longer showed the previous flattery, but he spoke coldly, "Lin Xiaoyu, if you don't speak in secret, I'll tell you the truth. When you had an accident before, I lent you money because I liked you and thought you could marry into my Zhou family. I was willing to give you that money, but now that you don't want to marry me, shouldn't the money be returned to me?" Lin Xiaoyu had long anticipated that Zhou Haoming would come to collect the debt, but he didn't expect it to come so soon. She frowned. Initially, Lin Xiaoyu was seriously ill and spent a huge amount. She borrowed 700 yuan from Zhou Haoming, which was not a small amount. Now she doesn't have much money left in her hand, only a dozen or so yuan. This money is her capital for making seafood noodles, and she can't give it to Zhou Haoming. After a moment of contemplation, she spoke up, "I don't have the money at the moment, but I will find a way to repay it to you." "Think of a way. What can you think of?" "Lin Xiaoyu, don't blame me for not reminding you. You owe me 700 yuan, what can you think of to earn 700 yuan? If you can change your mind and agree to marry me now, and give birth to a few chubby kids for the Zhou family, I can consider it." Zhou Haoming smiled coldly, without thinking that Lin Xiaoyu could repay the money. Lin Xiaoyu looked at him up and down, and the system's prompt in his mind was clear and clear. Patient. Zhou Haoming, disease. A person with heavenly castration. You do. Lin Xiaoyu almost rolled his eyes. Where does a eunuch go to have a child? She needs Zhou Haoming to be able to give birth. She was too lazy to expose Zhou Haoming's carelessness and said bluntly, "Give me some time, I will definitely return the money to you, at most for 6 months. No, it's been too long for 6 months, I can't wait that long." Zhou Haoming snorted coldly and refused outright. Lin Xiaoyu frowned. Even if she sells seafood noodles well in the town, the price of a bowl of noodles won't sell much. Half a year is the fastest she plans to earn 700 yuan and return it to Zhouhaoming. Unless, in the past 6 months, she can make money through other means besides seafood noodles. 3 months, if you don't agree, then do whatever you want. If it's not a big deal, I'll give you my life. Lin Xiaoyu gritted his teeth and went all out. No big deal, it's a bit hard, isn't it, just 700 yuan? Can it still be rare to find her, Lin Xiaoyu? Zhouhaoming frowned and looked at Lin Xiaoyu. Seeing her unwavering promise, it seemed that she could really earn so much money to repay him within 3 months. He hesitated for a moment before asking, "What if you can't do it?" "If I don't earn that much money and return it to you within 3 months, I'll marry you, okay?" Lin Xiaoyu gave him a big glare. Zhouhaoming immediately became happy and said, "Lin Xiaoyu, that's what you said yourself. Don't regret it. It's only 3 months. To prevent you from not keeping your word, we'll find someone to testify and write an agreement." "Okay, no problem," Lin Xiaoyu nodded and agreed. The two went to the village chief as witnesses and wrote a contract in triplicate, with 1 copy left by the village chief. Putting the agreement into his pocket, Lin Xiaoyu glanced at Zhouhaoming and shook his head before leaving. "I don't have time to talk to this guy anymore. Let's find a way to start making money quickly. If you want to set up a stall, you need to make a small cart first, otherwise the business won't be able to start." Lin Xiaoyu has an idea, but she is not good at it. She can only go home to find Lin Haiqiang and ask him to help with it. Chapter 8. Lucky Opening, First Bucket of Gold. You are listening at Novel Full.Audio. After Lin Xiaoyu arrived home, he told Lin Haiqiang about his plans. Lin Haiqiang was originally still regretting that he had caused trouble for Lin Xiaoyu and couldn't help her at all. Instead, he wanted her to bear such a large debt for himself. Upon learning that he could help his daughter, he immediately followed Lin Xiaoyu's request and started working as a carpenter. Lin Haiqiang doesn't have much ability, but he has developed a pair of skilled hands. His family is poor and he can't afford furniture. He makes all the tables, chairs, beds, and cabinets at home, so he gradually explores them. Instead, he has learned some carpentry skills on his own. The cart Lin Xiaoyu wants is not simple. It needs wheels to move easily. It also needs a place to place a coal stove, because it needs to burn a fire to cook soup, and it also needs a chopping board. Lammy and noodles needs to be made first. 2 more stoves are needed. Lin Haiqiang took 3 days to complete the small cart she wanted. Lin Xiaoyu was stunned when she saw the small cart he had made. The cart was simply perfect, perfectly meeting all the conditions she needed. "Dad, you're really amazing." Lin Xiaoyu couldn't help but hug Lin Haiqiang. Lin Haiqiang smiled foolishly, and as he watched Lin Xiaoyu happy, he became happy. "Do you want me to accompany you to town? You're a girl, the road is still so far, let me help you push the cart, I'm afraid you won't be able to handle it later." Lin Haiqiang didn't object to Lin Xiaoyu's decision to go into business, just worried that she would work too hard alone. Lin Xiaoyu thought for a moment and nodded in agreement. If business is too good, Lin Haiqiang's help is indeed needed. She asked Lin Haiqiang to make 2 more sets of tables and chairs, so that when someone comes to eat noodles, they can sit down and eat. These days, she has been going to the sea with Lin Haiqiang every morning and evening, carrying a small wooden bucket alone. Every day, she can bring back a full bucket. There wasn't much flour at home, so she went to the supply and marketing cooperative to buy 10 pounds. Her family only had 10 pounds of grain vouchers, so she didn't have any more to buy. Early in the morning, the father and daughter set off from the village for the town. The village is not close to the town road, and it takes about 2 hours to walk there. The 2 of them set off before dawn and arrived at the town just after 6 o'clock. There are 2 factories in town, and after some consideration, they finally chose to set up a stall at the entrance of a textile factory with more workers. The two of them set up a stall, with Lin Xiaoyu helping to light a fire and boil coal to make noodle soup, and Lin Xiaoyu making dough next to the noodles. The seafood soup had just boiled when the aroma wafted out. Next to the factory is the dormitory allocated by the employees. Many people wake up in the morning and are too lazy to cook breakfast. They usually go to the cafeteria in the factory to deal with a meal. The taste of the big pot rice in the cafeteria is average, but it's better because it's cheap and can be eaten. At this moment, I smelled such a fragrant smell early in the morning, which made me feel dizzy. Someone came over shortly to inquire about the price. This is seafood noodles. If you don't want seafood and only want noodles, a bowl only costs 20 cents, without a ticket. If you have a food ticket, you will receive a Tu-Liang food ticket, plus 10 cents. Lin Xiaoyu had already set the price before coming. At this price, although she doesn't make much profit, she still understands the principle of small profits and quick sales. First, make a name for yourself, and when you have more acquaintances and good business in the future, even if the profit is small and you sell more, you can still make a lot of money. The price is not expensive, so what if I want seafood? The person nodded, almost the same as the price in the cafeteria, and the taste tasted better than in the cafeteria. One serving of seafood costs 20 cents, which is the amount of one serving. Lin Xiaoyu pointed to a small bowl next to it, which contained 2 shrimp, a quarter of a crab, a few clams, and a few green vegetables. It wasn't too much, but it was also quite a lot. After all, it was all meat. 1 pound of meat outside sells for 90 cents. Give me 2 servings, both with seafood, and I'll give you a food receipt for the seafood. Can you give me a cheaper price? The person couldn't help but silently pay for the tempting aroma in the air. Lin Xiaoyu smiled and said, "You are the first customer. We only charge you 1 portion of the seafood, and the other portion is considered a gift for you. If it tastes good, please introduce more customers to me later. When you come in the future, we will give you a discount of 10%. Oh, big girl, you really know how to do business. Ha ha ha, good and good, I will definitely introduce you to the business." Hearing Lin Xiaoyu's words, the other party immediately smiled happily. Who doesn't want to take advantage of that little advantage these days? Eating a meal can save you 1 point, and all you save is money. Who wouldn't be happy? Lin Xiaoyu didn't charge her for a portion of seafood, and she suddenly felt like she had picked up a huge bargain. Lin Xiaoyu quickly pulled out the noodles and cooked 2 bowls of noodles. Nowadays, when buying noodles, there is no such thing as a packaging box. People bring their own bowls and pots. Lin Xiaoyu gave a lot of portions, and as she looked at the small pot full of noodles, along with the shrimp and crabs on top, she couldn't help but smile. She gave 4 taels of grain tickets and 4 cents, and then left with the pot in hand. A few more came behind her. Some people asked about the price and thought it was a bit expensive, so they left directly. Some people didn't miss that few cents and smelled like they really wanted to eat, so they spent money to buy a dish to taste. The woman who had bought it earlier quickly returned with 7 or 8 people, and when she arrived, she frowned and winked at Lin Xiaoyu. Lin Xiaoyu suddenly understood, and after everyone else had finished buying, she gave her another one, and she left happily. Lin Xiaoyu wiped the sweat off his forehead, and in just half an hour, he had already sold 20 servings. Only 3 servings were not for seafood, and the rest were taken. Plus the one sent out, the noodles prepared today are almost sold out. Lin Xiaoyu stood on the side counting the money, looking shocked and saying, "Is this business so easy to do? Is that how much money was earned?" Not everyone is willing to exchange food stamps for breakfast. After all, food stamps are still quite scarce for various families. Those who do not give food stamps will get 40 cents for a portion. There are a total of 12 people who have not received food stamps, and among the remaining 8 people, 3 only want noodles without any extra seafood. Now Lin Xiaoyu is holding 6.4 yuan in his hand, plus 16 taels of food stamps. This is still because Lin Xiaoyu earned money by giving the First Lady a portion of seafood and a portion of seafood noodles. If there is such a business every day, wouldn't it be possible to earn nearly 200 yuan in a month? He goes out to sea tirelessly every day to catch fish, and he can't earn that much money in a month. There are still a few more. Wait a little longer, if no one comes, then leave. Lin Xiaoyu looked at the sky and estimated that it was already past 7 o'clock. Normally, the factory starts work around 8 o'clock, and no one will come to buy breakfast after 8 o'clock. Those who are still busy can only bring them back. Chapter 9. Intentional Fault Finding. You are listening at Novel Full.Audio. Everyone listens to you, everyone listens to you. Lin Xiaoyu looked at making money and felt good, finally feeling less pressure. If this deal can last, we can really repay the money owed to Zhou Haoming in 3 months. He can also breathe a sigh of relief. After all, he doesn't want his daughter to jump into the fire pit, and Zhou Haoming is not really a good person. The father and daughter waited for a while longer, and one after another, people came to buy noodles. Some just sat here and ate before going to work, while others just packed and took them away. By 8 o'clock, there were only 2 servings of noodles left. Neither Lin Xiaoyu nor Lin Xiaoyu had breakfast, and they were both hungry now. Lin Xiaoyu simply made 2 portions and planned to eat them with Lin Xiaoyu before returning home. Just as the result was done, a young man riding a bicycle suddenly braked and stopped in front of her stall, saying, "It smells good, what's this thing? How much is it?" Lin Xiaoyu and Lin Xiaoyu looked at each other and finally answered with a helpless smile, "Comrade, this is the seafood noodles I made. As long as the noodles are 2 cents each, if you give them a grain ticket, it will be 2 liang of grain tickets plus 1 cent. If you add seafood to the noodles, it will be 4 cents. Seafood does not exchange for grain tickets, only for money. How much more?" "You've packed everything for me," the man said, handing over $1 directly. Lin Xiaoyu took the money and was about to give him a change of 2 cents, but the other party, who was wealthy and generous, waved his hand and said, "No need to change. Are you coming back tomorrow?" Come every day," Lin Xiaoyu quickly replied, while proficiently putting the noodles in the pot into the thermos. The man took the insulation bucket, waved his hand with a smile, and rode his bike into the factory gate. Lin Xiaoyu stretched lazily and said, "Dad, let's go home and cook something delicious when we get home." Okay, go home, go home." Lin Xiaoyu laughed uncontrollably, and they earned 10 yuan today. And there are also over 2 pounds of grain vouchers, which is a huge income. If it were to be passed on, many people would be envious. The 2 of them pushed the car back together. "Although I am hungry and tired, I am full of energy. Xiaoyu, we earned 13.5 yuan today, and there are also 3 pounds of food vouchers." After arriving home, Lin Xiaoyu carefully counted the money, and then his face was full of joy. Lin Xiaoyu collected the money and tickets and calculated the accounts. "I made 6 kilograms of flour for today's noodles, and 1 kilogram of flour costs 0.18 yuan. In addition, I need a 6 kilogram grain receipt. I picked up the seafood in the sea by myself, without spending any money. The cost is mainly for flour, which cost 108 yuan, plus a 6 kilogram receipt. The net profit of at least 10 yuan or more is already very considerable. Put away the money quickly, isn't there enough flour at home? I'll go see who I can exchange some tickets for and buy some more." Lin Xiaoyu felt happy at the moment and hurriedly went out to buy flour. Lin Xiaoyu stopped him and said, "Don't worry, there are still 3 kilograms of grain tickets here, and we have 4 kilograms of flour at home. That's about it. Let's buy 3 kilograms first. Tomorrow, I'll see if I can buy flour without tickets in town." Lin Xiaoyu knows that there must be a black market in the town. The price of flour in the black market is slightly higher than that of the supply and marketing cooperative, but there is no need for tickets, so it is still cost.effective. If you want to do long-term business, it's best to go to the black market. Doing business has become legal now, and there is no need to worry about being caught in the black market. It is very safe. Lin Xiaoyu understood Lin Xiaoyu's thoughts as soon as he heard them. He was still worried, but seeing Lin Xiaoyu's confident appearance, he nodded and planned to accompany him tomorrow. Lin Xiaoyu went to the supply and marketing cooperative with a ticket to buy 3 kilograms of flour. Zhou Haoming immediately received the news. His eyebrows furrowed, and he felt as if Lin Xiaoyu had changed his personality. Not only was his mouth more eloquent, but he was also smarter than before. Shouldn't she really be able to earn money and return it to herself? Zhou Haoming felt a bit annoyed in his heart. Just as Gu Changjing came to look for him, he didn't have a good expression when he saw Gu Changjing. He spoke coldly, "What are you doing with me? What dirty thing do you want me to cooperate with you?" "Don't say that, I didn't expect Lin Xiaoyu to suddenly change her personality. By the way, do you think something's wrong with her? She shouldn't be possessed by evil, right?" Gu Changjing also felt annoyed. Because his relationship with Lin Xiaoman was exposed, and now Lin Xiaoman is bothering him every day, asking him to marry her. The lion from the Lin family spoke up loudly, asking for 200 yuan for the dowry money. However, Su Chunmei felt that Lin Xiaoman had already had their own child, and it was impossible for anyone else to want her. She refused to let go even if she died, refused to give the dowry money, and even hoped that Lin Xiaoman could do it upside down. Because of this incident, the family has been in a lot of trouble these past few days. Gu Changjing felt annoyed watching them all, so he decided to run out and find Zhou Haoming. It's better not to see him. Zhou Haoming frowned upon hearing this and said, "I don't know. She recently bought more than 10 pounds of flour from the supply and marketing cooperative, and it seems like she went to town today. It seems like she's going to do business." "What? Lin Xiaoyu wants to do business. She can still do business. She can't afford to die." Gu Changjing seemed to have heard some big joke. Zhou Haoming, however, was not so optimistic. "I think she's not quite right. She really seems to have changed her personality and become more independent. She may really be different from before. Do you still remember her mother?" "I remember, from the city. I heard that my family used to do business, but later." Gu Chang stopped at the scenic spot, pondered for a moment, and then said, "You just like her so much. So you want to marry her. Where is Lin Xiaoyu really good? You don't understand, only women like Lin Xiaoyu are suitable for living at home. Those like Lin Xiaoman who can't control their own waistbands, can you feel at ease when you marry into the house? Maybe one day you won't be at home, so I'll give you a green hat." Zhou Haoming cursed. Thinking that Lin Xiaoyu may really earn money to repay him, how will he marry her to enter the door? Can you help me add up the total? Can she really make money? How do I know about this? Why don't we follow her another day and see if we can really make money? If we can make money, let's go and cause trouble for her. Why did Lin Xiaoyu make such a mess of me, and she still manages to thrive and make money? I'll let her make a fool of herself. When you marry her, remember to practice her well and not be too kind to her. You don't need to teach me how to do things, Zhou Haoming scolded irritably. However, I also think Gu Changjing's suggestion is good. He was thinking about going to the town tomorrow to see what Lin Xiaoyu was really doing. If he really made money, he had to make her yellow. If she earns money and pays off her debts, where will he go to find a wife? The next morning, Lin Xiaoyu and Lin Xiaoyu still set off for town before dawn. There were more noodles today than yesterday, and more seafood was brought out. The two of them didn't know that after they left the village, Zhou Haoming, who had been guarding for the night, yawned and rode his bicycle to follow behind them. Chapter 10. Is the disease worsening and coming to your door? You are listening at novel full.audio. Lin Xiaoyu and Lin Haiqian only arrived at the entrance of the textile factory when a few people were already waiting there. Seeing her coming, they quickly brought a pot up and greeted her with a smile, then bought 2 servings of noodles on their own. Lin Xiaoyu has plenty of noodles, and 2 portions are almost enough for a family of 3 to eat. The children have a small appetite and don't eat much, so 2 portions are just right. Those with more affluent family conditions will order more seafood, while those with average family conditions will order less. By 7 o'clock, Lin Xiaoyu had already bought the noodles he brought today. Zhou Haoming had been propping up his bicycle not far away, watching as the endless stream of customers approached to buy things made his eyes turn red. Seeing that there were fewer guests, he pushed his bicycle forward and glanced at Lin Xiaoyu's small cart and the things on it. He angrily cursed, "Lin Xiaoyu, what are you doing? Did you secretly use my fishing boat to go fishing? You didn't pay half of it." Lin Xiaoyu didn't expect to see Zhou Haoming here. She threw away her rolling pin and stood directly in front of the noodle stand, with her hands crossed over her hips, looking at Zhou Haoming. "You keep your dog's eyes wide open and see clearly. When did I use your boat? You haven't rented out your boat yet, so you don't have much in your heart. What? Seeing me make money and do business is even harder than killing you, right? Get out of my way, don't stop me from doing business if you don't buy anything." She even gave him a push as she spoke. Zhou Haoming was about to throw a tantrum and disrupt Lin Xiaoyu's voice, but when Lin Xiaoyu pushed him away, he coldly threatened in his ear, "If you dare to cause trouble here and make it impossible for me to do business, I will tell people around the world that Zhou Haoming is incompetent, has no sexual ability, and is infertile." In one sentence, Zhou Haoming was stunned and then his face turned red with anger and embarrassment as he looked at Lin Xiaoyu. Lin Xiaoyu smiled coldly and said, "You can try to see if I have that ability. I can make everyone in the village know that Gu Changjing and Lin Xiaoman are intricately intertwined, and I have a way to make the world know that you, Zhou Haoming, are not a man. If you don't believe me, you can try and see who will lose face in the end. If you're not afraid of losing the face of the Zhou family, you can take a gamble. You, me. Zhou Haoming hesitated for a while, unable to say a word. He is certain that no one will know if he doesn't mention this matter. How could Lin Xiaoyu possibly know? He didn't even tell his parents about this matter. After all, it's so difficult for him to speak up about such a difficult thing. As a result, Lin Xiaoyu broke through his embarrassment with one mouthful, as if pulling off his fig leaf and exposing him to everyone without reservation. He is afraid. He is really scared. He values face more than life. He dare not think about how the villagers would mock him if they knew he was not capable. Can he continue to live in the village in the future? Zhou Haoming glared at Lin Xiaoyu with a stern expression and said, "The deadline of 3 months doesn't count. You must repay me within 1 month. Otherwise, I will go to the police station to find the police." Speaking, Zhou Haoming was afraid that Lin Xiaoyu would say something that would tarnish his reputation, so he pushed his bicycle and turned around running at lightning speed. "Comrade Xiaoyu, who was that male comrade just now?" At this moment, Mrs. Chen, who was initially assisting Lin Xiaoyu in buying noodles, came over and glanced at Zhou Haoming's back, feeling somewhat puzzled. The expression on Lin Xiaoyu's face changed in a second, with a hint of helplessness. "Auntie, to be honest, my dad fell seriously ill a while ago and spent a lot of money on medical treatment. That person just now was the creditor of our family, and I don't know why they knew I was setting up a stall here to trouble me. Now I just want to earn money and repay all the money I owe him, so I don't have to be harassed by him anymore. He has a fiancée AE and harasses me every day. I'm really annoyed. Lin Xiaoyu is good-looking. She looks sad at the moment. Aunt Chen believes her at once. You can make more noodles another day, and I'll give you a good promotion in the factory. There are hundreds of people in our factory, and the noodles you make are so delicious. There must be business. You wait, and I'll promote them to you tomorrow. Mrs. Chen is a warm-hearted person who doesn't want anyone to suffer, so she patted her chest and promised to promote Lin Xiaoyu. Lin Xiaoyu was extremely moved in his heart. When he served Chen auntie noodles, he shook his hand and put an extra 2 yuan. Mrs. Chen immediately left with a happy smile on her face, always praising Lin Xiaoyu for being good-looking and making top-notch noodles. By the time it was already past 7:30 p.m., the last 2 were still bought by the man riding a bicycle yesterday. He was still wealthy and gave 1 yuan, while Lin Xiaoyu gave a few more shrimp, which was considered a reward. After selling out the noodles, the father and daughter asked people again and found a spot on the black market. They spent 20 yuan to buy 90 pounds of flour and used a small car to pull them home. These flour have been enough for them to sell for a long time. Tomorrow, Lin Xiaoyu plans to make 20 pounds of noodles directly. If business is good, it is estimated that he can really repay the money owed to Zhou Haoming in a month. As soon as I arrived at my doorstep, I saw a familiar green jeep parked at the entrance, surrounded by many villagers, whispering something. Seeing that Lin Xiaoyu and his daughter had returned, he quickly shouted, "Xiaoyu, hurry home and take a look. Junyi doesn't know what's going on with you. Don't let anything important delay you." Lin Xiaoyu thought of the incident where Lu Xianghuai was hit in the stomach, probably due to a sequelae. He didn't expect it to come so quickly, probably because this person didn't rest well and started moving around again after returning. She took a step forward, and Lu Xianghuai had already jumped out of the car. When she got off, she rushed forward with a worried expression on her face. "Comrade Lin Xiaoyu, Major Lu's wound has worsened and infected. The situation is very bad now, and we really have no other choice. Last time you were able to get a bullet for him and treat the wound so well, you must have a way. Please come with me to the military district to see his condition." Lin Xiaoyu's conjecture arose. She nodded and instructed Lin Haiqiang to take the things home and put them away. She then got on a jeep and followed Lu Xianghuai to the military camp to see Lu Xianghuai. The two of them dared not delay and quickly got off the car and rushed into the hospital of the military district. In the ward, Lu Xianghuai lay in bed. Even though he was sick, he was still very handsome, but his eyebrows furrowed slightly and he felt a bit weak. Due to a high fever and taking medication, he is still asleep at the moment, and even though the nurse tossed and turned, he couldn't wake him up. Lin Xiaoyu walked forward and touched his forehead, which was scorching terrifyingly. It was estimated that the temperature was approaching 39 degrees Celsius.